Back in 2020, the Irish Supreme Court officially ruled that Subway's bread has so much sugar in it, it's legally classified as cake. Can you believe it? But is it just Subway? Today, we're putting 3 different breads under the microscope. The confectionery from Subway, the competition from Togo sandwich, and my standard loaf of bread from my own pantry, which is, I think, a good control point. We're going to analyze the cellular structure, look for hidden additives, and see if your lunch is actually a sandwich or just a dessert in disguise. Let's get to work.
First up is our control sample, the bread from my own pantry, you guys, only for you to get a clear look at the internal matrix. I'm taking a forensic style cross-section. What we're looking for here is a natural gluten structure, those irregular air pockets created by yeast. If there's real bread, the slide should show a complex fibrous web, not a uniform sugary foam. So let's get this under the lens and see what a standard loaf actually looks like. And we're taking 1 drop, maybe 2 drops of distilled water. So this, remember, is our control point. This is whole wheat bread from a nature health food store. I mean, that's the best I can do. I can't bake bread, so this is it, you guys, okay? I think it's time for a cover slip right now. All right, and the cover slip put out a 45, so minimize the bubbles. All right. All right, guys, so look, real whole wheat under the lens is a mess. And you know what? That's a good thing, because at 40 times, you're not seeing a smooth surface. You're looking at a jagged landscape of bran and germ. So notice these dark, irregular flecks. Those are the bits of the grain that haven't been stripped away. The structure is erratic with deep, uneven craters where the yeast actually had to fight to lift the heavy flour. There's no artificial glow or gummy sheen here, just raw, organic fiber. It looks exactly what it is, a staple food. But keep that image in your head, because when we slide the Subway sample under here, this organic complexity is about to be gone. So pushing this to 100 times, you can really see the work that went into this loaf of bread. So look at those translucent clusters. That's the starch, you guys. But see how it's all locked behind these thick, rugged walls of fiber? It's not a clean or pretty image. It's a crowded and dense. This is literally what slow release energy looks like under the lens. So at 400 times, we're basically standing inside the grain itself. You see those jagged shards? That's the wheat bran. So in a real loaf of bread, these things act like tiny saws, cutting through the gluten and keeping the bread heavy and dense. It's a total mess in here. Starch granules are shoved into these tight, rugged pockets, and there's absolutely zero smoothness to it. You don't see any of that weird gummy sheen you get with the additives. It's just a raw, dry layers of plant matter. This is why a couple of slices of this actually fills you up. So at 1,000 times, we're officially at the limit. Look at the surface of these starchy granules. They aren't smooth. They're pitted, scarred, and wrapped in a gnarly protein-rich web of gluten. There's no mystery here. No hidden chemicals or syrupy gloss filling the gaps. Just the raw microscopic reality of grain. It looks solid, it looks structural, and it looks like actual food. But pay attention to these gaps, because in a second, we're switching to the Subway sample, and you're going to see what happens when sugar and conditioners take over the architecture. Okay, next up is Togos. All right, so here's what I have from Togos. This looks pretty. It's basically the basic, flat white bread. I try to get the most controlled point I can across the board with all 3. So I'm going to take a little sample of this right here. And I'm going to put a couple drops of distilled water on here, like so. I'll get 1 more. There we go. And ready for a cover slip here, cover slide. And there we go. Off to the scope. Switching over to Togos. And man, the vibe changes instantly. This doesn't even look like the same species as the last slice. Where the pantry bed was all jagged and chaotic, this is smooth. It's almost creepy how uniform it is. Those air pockets aren't random. They're nearly perfect little circles. You can tell right away this dough didn't grow naturally. It was engineered, obviously with conditioners to stay soft and bouncy. It's less like a piece of grain and more like a manufactured sponge. It looks clean, don't get me wrong, but in the world of bread, clean usually means processed. So moving this to 100 times on the Togos in the factory,
it really starts to take over. Notice how the edges of these craters are almost shiny? That's not natural. In the pantry loaf, those walls were rough and fibrous. But here, they're thin and glassy. It's like the bread was inflated rather than fermented. You're seeing a lot more empty space and way less actual material. It looks like it would just melt the second it hits your tongue, but it's exactly what a high-speed production line wants. It's a complete 180 from that dense fortress we saw in the whole wheat. So at 400 times, the Togo sample starts looking less like food and more like insulation. So look at these walls. They're paper thin and almost translucent. You don't see any of these rugged brand knives we saw with the original loaf. It's just this massive open cell structure that's been stretched to the absolute limit here. It's got this weird glassy sheen that usually comes from high-speed mixers and dough conditioners. There's almost no grit left in here. It's built for volume and softness, not for structure. If the pantry loaf was a brick house, this is a tent made of plastic wrap. So, at 1,000 times, the Togo sample is basically a ghost town. In the pantry loaf, this view is packed with fiber. But here, the walls are stretched so thin they're almost invisible. It's all shiny, empty craters. You can see how the chemicals forced it to expand way past its limit, leaving behind this weird glassy skeleton. It's all architecture and zero substance. So we're moving on to our favorite, Subway.
Now, and now everybody's favorite, which y'all been waiting for. Yeah, I saved this for last because honestly, yeah, I want you guys to watch my video. So I have to save the best for last. Hey, at least I'm honest. So here's Subway. Got a nice little sample for you. And this is an artisan, what is it called? I can't remember the name of the bread, but it's the flatbread, white. So I can have a nice control group where we're all the same across the board. There, a little sample there. Let me put a couple drops of the distilled water. Soak this up a little bit. Now remember, these guys went to the Irish Supreme Court back in 2020 because they're claiming basically that there's so much sugar in their bread that's why it stays soft for a while. And here's my cover slip, 45 degree, no air bubbles hopefully. There we go. We're ready for the scope. Let's go.
So now we're looking at the cake, Subway at 40 times. Immediately, you can see why the Irish courts called them out. It doesn't look like bread. It looks like a yellow gummy sponge. There's this weird oily sheen over the whole surface that you only see when the sugar content is through the roof. The air pockets aren't just uniform. They're almost perfectly identical, like they were stamped out by a machine. So we're at 100 times on the Subway, and honestly, it's kind of gross. You guys see that yellowish gummy glaze? That's the cake factor. It's got this syrupy plastic-looking sheen that's a dead giveaway for high sugar and heavy-duty conditioners. The walls of these air pockets are incredibly thin too, almost like bubbles in a bath. And they've got this weirdly smooth, slick texture. You aren't seeing any of that rugged organic fiber, the pantry loaf. So at this point, the microscope isn't showing us a staple food anymore. It's showing us a highly engineered, sugary foam. At 400 times, the bread, that's in quotations, facade completely falls apart. Look at these walls. They aren't fibrous or grainy. They look like melted plastic. That weird, wet-looking glaze is the sugar and conditioners working together to keep this thing unnaturally soft. There's no structural integrity here, no bran, no grit, just a gummy yellowed grid. It's honestly closer to a freaking Twinkie than a sourdough. You're looking at a chemical reaction. So here we are at 1,000 times, and the cake ruling makes total sense now. Look at these walls. They aren't fibrous or rugged. They're smooth, gummy, and have this weird syrupy gloss. There's no grain to look at anymore. It's just translucent, yellowed matrix held together by sugar and chemistry. It's actually kind of wild under the lens, but this has more in common with a marshmallow than a loaf of bread. So you're looking at a structural sugar high. So I'm going to take you guys over to a comparison side by side. So take a look at this. All right, so here's the side by side. So it's actually pretty alarming, you guys. On the left, you got the real bread from my pantry, and it looks rugged like actual food. But look at the Subway and Togo samples next to it. That organic structure just vanishes. They look ghostly, translucent, plastic, and looks like foam. So when you see how hollow and chemically engineered these loaves are, really under the lens, you have to ask yourself, is this really what you want to be feeding your kids? So you decide. So the microscope doesn't lie. Between the Irish cake ruling and what we just saw under the lens, it's pretty clear that not all bread is created equal. Next time you're grabbing a sub sandwich, just remember that glossy hollow structure we saw at 1000 times. Is it a sandwich or is it just a dessert in disguise? Don't forget to subscribe to see more crazy food reveals. And oh, hey, check it out. This video right here will tell you all about popcorn chicken. Or is it really chicken?